Hi, this is Viv from B&C Camera. Back in the day, film photography had one significant advantage over digital photography. The technology made it possible to capture far superior image quality. That's no longer the case, as digital images now have a resolution that exceeds 45.4 megapixels. So why have sales of analog cameras and film products increased in the past 5 years? We discovered the answer to this question and gathered suggestions for those who want to jump into the analog photography movement right away. Maybe you're already using a digital camera. Unfortunately, the built-in and semi-professional digital cameras in our smartphones deliver little comprehension of how photography actually works. They're all about maximizing what they see, so they just set the proper exposure and focus and leave it at that. In the case of a traditional camera, the picture quality is entirely up to you. And the good news is that once you've mastered getting excellent shots with a film camera, producing masterpieces with a digital camera will be simple. So let's get this party started. Start with 35mm. The most common type of film is 35mm or 135. If you start with it, you have a wide range of cameras to choose from. This implies that you may pick the sort of camera that appears to be the most fascinating to you and purchase one at a reasonable price. It would help if you did not encounter any difficulty in obtaining or developing film. Another significant advantage, medium and large format films let you take far less than 16 photographs, while 35mm allows for up to 36. More bang for your buck isn't terrible when you're first starting. The exposure triangle still applies. According to seasoned photographers, if you blindly follow this rule, you'll suffocate your creativity. However, we feel that before breaking any golden rules of photography, you must first master them. The exposure triangle rule is a fundamental guideline in film photography and allows you to avoid hundreds of wasted shots. Manually controlled film cameras were the first on the scene. The photographer adjusts the camera's ISO, known as film ASA, aperture or f-stops, and shutter speed. And these three variables are interconnected. You must combine your scene illumination and film stock's exposure potential, film stock is rated, and work to set up your analog camera correctly. You'll need a higher ISO, slower shutter speed, and larger aperture if you want a lighter frame. Own your instincts about manual focus. Some analog cameras have autofocus, but they are significantly slower than digital cameras regarding focusing. As a result, moving objects are frequently blurry in photos, or the shutter closes too late, leaving the subject outside your view. It takes time, confidence, and a steady hand to master manual focus. As a result, using an analog camera is an excellent opportunity to develop your professional abilities. Begin with stationary things like buildings and plants and people sitting or standing still, then move on to dynamic subjects for added excitement. Avoid adding flash and begin with black and white. You may also modify your images later in the post-production stage to make them black and white. However, if you aim to learn how to use light and shadow, we recommend beginning with classic black and white photography. Black and white photography may be more complex than color photography. Because we're not used to seeing the world in black and white, it's tough for us to picture how a specific location might appear without colors and hues. When it comes to black and white film, we have to think about things like contrast, forms, shapes, textures, and frame composition. In other words, black and white photography helps us develop our creative vision, a great place to get the ball rolling. Get well versed in photo techniques that can't be replicated digitally. Push and pull photography. This technique is fantastic for creating unique halftones and depths with black and white film. The concept is that you ignore the ISO of your film and underexpose the frame. Then you compensate for this by underdeveloping the picture. You may also overexpose a photo and then underexpose it. Now we're getting creative. Film cameras, unlike most digital cameras, are half or fully manual, allowing you to learn by doing and discovering unexpected discoveries related to the art form of photography. Another benefit of film photography is that you value each shot more after shooting with an analog camera. Analog photography also develops useful talents such as spatial and artistic vision, creativity, and patience. All of this will help you better master your favorite digital camera and then create a portfolio that is more genuine and appealing to viewers.